Hi, my name's Amanda Fingerhut. I'm the Education Coordinator for the Herbert H. Carnegie Future Aces Foundation. I used to be a teacher with the Toronto District School Board. I went into teaching because I loved raising the self-esteem and leadership skills of youth who didn't know that they had within them the opportunity for success in their lives. And I found that this charity, Future Aces, does exactly that. As soon as I met the charity and I met the education director of Future Aces, Vivian Shapiro, as soon as I met her and I found out about this incredible charity, I knew that's where my heart was. I started volunteering with Future Aces to create a leadership conference for youth who didn't know that they were leaders. At the time I was still a teacher, and so I of course brought my own students to this conference, and I looked for kids who were leaders but didn't know they were leaders. It's possible that they were negative leaders. Someone who's misbehaving in the classroom, the smart aleck of the classroom, the kid who, kids follow, probably very charismatic, but getting into negative things, being mischievous, not succeeding in school, not trying in school, but the kids are kind of following them in the classroom or in the hallways. I didn't necessarily know what these students were really doing behind the scenes. Really, I think all kids have an opportunity to have success in their lives. It's a matter of sometimes they don't have the background in their life, sometimes they don't have the parent, guardians, there for them. Sometimes they have difficult paths. Sometimes it's just the groups they get into at school. There's all sorts of reasons why somebody may not have the self-esteem in order to be who they can be and be the best they can be. But I do believe that everybody has that opportunity, and that's why I wanted to get into teaching as a student when I was in high school. It was a teacher and giving me leadership opportunities that really showed me what I could be in my life, so I wanted to be able to pay that forward for kids. We've had 11 conferences so far, so our 12th is coming up in November. So a long time ago.
I want to go.
It's magic. It's absolute magic because the kids that are chosen, and now I'm not a teacher anymore. I'm not choosing kids. And even when I was choosing kids, I was just taking 8 kids from my school. We have 24, 25, sometimes 26 schools bringing kids. We tell teachers to choose kids who are either negative leaders, so kids that aren't necessarily doing positive things, but kids are following them, probably very charismatic, and you see that they could be turned into positive if they're given the right tools. Maybe kids who are really shy, but you can see something in them, you see a light in them. Sometimes kids who are awkward. I've chosen students in the past from my own students who maybe didn't have the social skills, and they might have been good kids and didn't cause trouble, but did well possibly, but just didn't have that spark, didn't have a lot of friends, didn't really see themselves as being able to be leaders, even though they were just sort of getting by life. They were kind of the kids that maybe would be missed in a way. Maybe shy kids who might be missed, kids new to the country, maybe they were leaders in the country that they were born in, but now that they're in Canada and really don't know much about this country and don't speak the language well or haven't really found themselves here, a kid like that who could really be a positive leader in society. And we take all these kids and basically turn them into positive leaders in 3 days at the conference that we run. They basically get taken out of their environment and they're put with kids they don't know, even the kids they come with. When they're working in groups at the conference, they're not with anybody they know, so they say they can reinvent themselves. And they're put into a place, they're given a leadership conference, they're told they're leaders. They're not told they're chosen to come to a leadership conference because we think they can be leaders. They're told they're coming to a leadership conference because they are leaders. And I think that's the magic of it. Kids saying no to gangs, kids saying no to suicide, kids actually saying no to being a bully. There have been students who have spoken and said, they were bullies prior to coming to this conference, and they realized how they should act in order to help others and not bully them. There have been kids who have said they've had no self-esteem, that they were bullied. So you have both ends of the spectrum, the bully coming together with the kid who's being bullied, working together to better themselves, and kids who after 3 days, and it amazes me. I've seen what it's done, but it still kind of amazes me that it does this, because I've seen kids after 3 days who were completely bullied and horrible and no friends and sitting alone in the hallways at recess and just really quiet kids who say that after this weekend they turned around themselves, they started to have respect for themselves, and so others started to respect them. And now they talk out for others who are being bullied against the bullies, that they have the self-confidence to do that, and their lives are completely different. Herb Carnegie's vision was to have people look at themselves, and he actually created a creative living for himself, because he thought, if I can do all these things, if I can have a positive attitude, if I can have confidence, if I can be courageous, if I can be an example to others, if I can give service, etc. He wrote it for himself. He thought, if I can do these things, then I can be better. And then he thought, if everybody could do those things for themselves, then the world would be a better place. His dream was to, eventually stop wars. He felt if everybody could be future aces, if everybody could look at themselves and be the best person they can be, then there would be no need for wars in this world. And I think he would be so proud looking, he probably is up there somewhere looking down, and so proud at the kids who really have looked at themselves and they've become the best versions of themselves. And that's really what he wanted, was to help others become the best versions of themselves. They walk out of there saying, I can do anything. I like myself. That was also Herb's model, that Bernice is, really making kids look at themselves and say, I like myself. And so he would be very proud of his daughters, of the whole Future Aces team. There are so many kids and so many schools out there. We do more than just the conference. That's a part of a whole year project. We go in and work with the kids and work in the schools, and Bernice does her presentation in schools. Joelle now does a presentation in schools, talking to kids about, this is where I came from, this is what I said no to, you can be like me too. So we go into schools, we train teachers, we do workshops for teachers, helping them work with their students in order to help them be the best they can be. We have so many schools wanting us, we have so many kids needing us, and we're this little small starving charity. Wouldn't it be great if it could be so many more than 25 schools that could send kids to this conference? We have wonderful sponsors with Future Aces who help us be able to deliver our programs, but it really isn't enough. We can only reach, right now, we only have an ability to have 25 schools send 8 kids to our conference every year. That's not enough. We're in a few schools a year throughout Ontario. We'd love to be able to have more schools that can have our programs. Wouldn't it be great if we could have schools throughout Canada, schools throughout North America, be able to have kids affected by Future Aces and their lives change? There are so many kids out there. There are so many schools out there. We have schools constantly calling us saying, we want to be a part of your initiative. We can't have them all. We have schools calling us saying, we want to be a part of your initiative, and we can't even afford the small little school fee that we have. We can't help them unless we have more sponsors. You can call our foundation 905-947-9131. You can also email us at info@futureaces.org, futureaces.org. Our website is www.futureaces.org. We would love your sponsorship. You're welcome to be a part of it. You can come to our events. You can help us help the kids that you're sponsoring. You can be right a part of it and watch them and help them save lives, help them change themselves in order to help save lives. Together, we can be better.